Hey guys, we just had posted the poll about what you wanted to see next for videos, and today we wanted to cover use of electronics.
So we're going to start by talking about toddlers, so specifically 2 and under. So if this doesn't apply to you, you can fast forward a little bit. But if this does apply to you, then we're going to just share a little bit from our experience in raising Selah, who is 2 and under. She's a 1.5 years old. And we recently just watched a video on a study done that had to do with screen time and toddlers. And it actually is highly recommended that from the ages of being born to 2 that they don't actually have any screen time, which sounds probably kind of severe.
Yeah.
Maybe some of you already have a lot of screen time introduced, but some of the reasons why I think she was a counselor, was specifically sharing that it's not maybe the healthiest form is because although it's entertaining for our kids, it's not educational. Mm-hmm. And from 0 to 2 is some of the most developmental times of their life where they really are growing and becoming little humans, and they learn so much. We hear the phrase they're little sponges all the time. Selah will hear us say something and then the next second she's saying it. So these are such crucial and important years of their life. So we really want to be careful that we're not only entertaining them, but we're educating them. Mm-hmm. And even background screen time. So maybe say Brandon and I were watching TV and Selah's playing on the ground. It still is really impactful to their development. So it's screen time is negative to their social development, but also their mental development. So it's actually recommended that we help them find ways to create and learn. Yeah. And before we even really knew this, Brandon and I just decided that we wanted to limit the amount of time that we as a family, as a married couple, and with Selah watch TV. So we don't personally have a TV. We're not saying we think everyone should get rid of one, but we found that the more that we get on the ground and play with Selah, the more we interact with her, the more she actually learns. And she's very smart and very educated for her age, but also I think she will grow and phase into her adolescent and preteen and teen years, knowing how to be creative and knowing how to steward her time well, but also how to have self-control when it comes to screen time and electronics, because it wasn't her only way of being creative. It wasn't her only way of relaxing. It wasn't her only way of hanging out with us when she was younger. So it's not going to be what she turns to when she's older. And so that's kind of why we have set this very specific boundaries that we have in place for our family.
Yeah, and one other statistic this doctor shared was that during screen time, the child-parent talk time is reduced by 85%. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot less interaction going on, and we can all attest to that. When you're watching TV, you might have small dialogue, but not as much as you would if the TV was off, mm-hmm. or if the phone was put up. And so we want to move into, as your kids get older, maybe they're in middle school and they're teenagers. Speaking from my life, I used to be on my phone a lot. I didn't have a smartphone until I was out of high school, but I played a lot of video games and watched a lot of TV. And so what's really on my heart is, as we raise our kids, we want to teach them how to think and how to interact in their environment in a way that develops them and causes them to be able to take a situation and be victorious in it. And I think for young men, I'll speak for men and women, playing video games, it provides this false sense of achievement, of accomplishment. Mm-hmm. I came in first place in the battle. When we are all called to overcome and to do these powerful things in God, mm-hmm. this artificial environment that we see in TV and in video games creates this facade that, oh my gosh, I've accomplished something. Mm-hmm. I haven't gotten up off the couch in 3 hours. And so we do want to focus on if we are watching TV as a family, that there's no sexual crude humor, there's no sexual scenes. More and more so, I'm just realizing that the violence that we see out in the world, and then the violence we watch at home, it's not congruent, I guess, with what we believe as Christians, when we believe Jesus paid a price for. And really just giving our kids space to be creative, mm-hmm. and to thrive in their environment. And so mm-hmm. for you as a family, to really just brainstorm, if we are going to use electronics, if we are going to watch a movie, there are some amazing movies about what God's doing in the world. There are learning interactive resources that you can use as media. but really to limit it and to challenge as a married couple to find ways to interact with your kids, play real board games, write stories, read stories, paint, dance, worship, go out and love on people. There's so much to do outside of the house and inside the house, even as we enter into winter.
And I think we're not against TV or movies. We both grew up watching movies as a family.
Right.
The idea of, a family night, turn on a movie, have some pizza, pop some popcorn,
Right.
That's amazing. And we also aren't against the idea of, a teenager having a specific TV show that they really love watching, and then they gather all their girlfriends over and watch it, because I also did that personally too. And here I am today, okay with not having a TV. And so we're not saying get rid of all of it, take it all out, it's all bad, but more I think every family is going to have different boundaries because every kid is so different. Some kids might have more self-control than others. You might see that some kids, like when you really look at the heart of why they're playing or why they're scrolling or why they're always on Snapchat, when you look at the heart, some kids are going to have different reasons. Maybe they're just depressed. Maybe they don't know how to steward the call in their life. Maybe they don't know how to be creative. Maybe that's where their source of identity comes from. So we can see, the negative sides of why, their heart is leading them to play all the time. Or maybe there's just, this is fun and it's recreational and I'm not consumed by it. Although it may be entertaining, it's a healthy form of entertainment for me with my friends or, me with my family. And so really, we're not here to say this is exactly what you should do with your family. This is how much, they should only have 5 minutes of video games every day, because it's going to be so diverse and so different.
Right.
But what it comes down to is, what is the heart posture of each of your kids at home as they're playing and engaging with electronics, because it's going to be so different. And then that will kind of help you be able to steward your kids into more of a healthier lifestyle. And it also might just look like us as parents disengaging from our social media platforms, disengaging from our TV shows, and interacting and engaging more with our kids and showing them that there are other ways to have fun and there are things that we can do as a family. Because we, as parents, model to our kids how they're going to find rest, how they're going to have fun, how they're going to interact with people. So we can't expect them not to be on their phones all the time if we're on our phones all the time.
Right.
And we can't expect them not to enjoy binge watching Netflix if that's what we do when they go to bed, because we set the standard, we create the model. So we can't get mad at them for the very things that we ourselves are doing. So if you don't like something, then it might mean you need to change it in yourself too.
So we would love to know your thoughts on how are you choosing to be intentional with your kids. Electronics aren't bad, but they're meant to be tools, not emotional outlets for our lives. And so we bless you guys. Let us know what you think. Comment below. Let's have some healthy dialogue on how we can do this thing together as a family and see healthy kids. So bless you guys.